It feels like everyone is suddenly talking about hormones, PCOS, cycle syncing, cortisol, fertility. You're not imagining it. And as a reproductive health doctor, I can tell you that it's not a trend, it's a response. And today, I want to explain why hormones are suddenly a hot topic and the 5 everyday things that I see quietly ruining them in real life. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Natalie Katelynn, a sexual and reproductive health doctor. And today, I wanted to sit down and talk about something that has become a hot topic literally everywhere. Hormones. You open Instagram or TikTok right now, every few scrolls, you'll find someone talking about hormones. You're not imagining it. Everyone is talking about hormones right now. And like I said, it's not a trend, it's a response. Over the past few years, we've seen more and more women presenting with irregular cycles, painful periods, fatigue, acne, fertility struggles, endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS. These aren't new problems, but they're happening earlier, more frequently, and with more intensity. At the same time, we're living in a culture that glorifies burnout. We live on our phones, we sleep less, we wake up stressed, we undereat, we normalize pain. And then we're surprised when our bodies start sending us warning signals in the name of hormone imbalance. Hormones are sensitive. They respond to sleep, stress, nutrition, movement, and rest. So when your lifestyle is constantly pushing your body into survival mode, hormone imbalance is often the first place that it shows up. Social media has played a role too. Women are finally sharing their experiences about PCOS, endometriosis, infertility, cycle problems, and that visibility actually does matter a lot, but the downside that is a lot of the conversations have shifted from education to trends, quick fixes, fear-based content, and outright misinformation and lies. What worries me as a doctor is that many women are waiting for a diagnosis or a crisis before they finally start caring about their hormones. But reproductive health and hormone health is not something that you fix after things go wrong. It's something that you protect daily, long before infertility, severe PMS, and chronic fatigue show up. I always say this, you don't wait for a heart attack to finally start taking care of your heart health and start taking it seriously. So why do you wait for hormone imbalance and issues to start taking care of your reproductive health or your hormone health? And this is why today, instead of just talking about hormones in theory, I also wanted to go in detail and share the everyday habits that are quietly disrupting our hormones, often without people even realizing it. The first daily habit quietly disrupting your hormones is sleeping too little or sleeping too late. And when I say this, I don't just mean how many hours you sleep, I mean when you sleep. Your hormones follow a rhythm. Cortisol, melatonin, estrogen, progesterone, they're all timed. So when you consistently go to bed late, even if you sleep in the next morning, that rhythm gets disrupted. Maybe you don't sleep late, but you sleep at different times. Today you sleep at 8 p.m., tomorrow at 10, the next day at 7:30, the next day at 11. One of the first hormones affected is your cortisol, what we call the stress hormone. And like I said, your hormones follow time. Irregular sleeping patterns at late nights keep cortisol elevated longer than it should be. And when your cortisol stays high, your reproductive hormones get thrown off. This is why I always say hormone imbalance does not start with a diagnosis. It often starts with a lifestyle that never gives the body a chance to fully recover. And I want to be very clear here. Your hormones don't reset just because you slept 8 hours. They reset when you sleep at the right time, consistently. If your body is used to winding down at midnight or at 1 a.m., your hormones adapt to that stress pattern. Over time, that adaptation becomes imbalanced, especially for women who are dealing with PMS, PCOS, irregular cycles, or fertility concerns. Sleep is not optional, it's actually foundational hormone care for you. Unfortunately, for many people, the stress doesn't stop at bedtime, it actually starts the moment they wake up. Which brings me to the second habit. The second daily habit quietly disrupting hormones is stress first mornings. For a lot of people, the day begins with an alarm, immediately grabbing their phone, scrolling through their notifications and TikTok and Instagram and all of that, rushing out of bed, and then coffee. This sounds normal, doesn't it? If you're wondering where the problem is, then you're really knee-deep in these habits and need a reset immediately. Because from a hormone perspective, this matters more than people realize. When you wake up, cortisol is naturally meant to rise. That's what helps you feel alert and awake. But when the first thing you do is rush, check messages, or rely on caffeine on an empty stomach, cortisol spikes higher than it needs to. Over time, this constant cortisol overstimulation affects blood sugar regulation, and blood sugar and hormones are closely related. Clinically, this shows up as energy crashes by the middle of the morning, worsening PMS, increased anxiety, and in conditions like PCOS, it can actually worsen insulin resistance. I see this every day in a lot of high-functioning busy women. They're doing everything right on paper, but their mornings are putting their bodies into stress mode before the day even begins. A lot of women actually struggle to get pregnant just because their mornings are not hormone optimized. I'm not saying never drink coffee again, but you need to understand timing, context, and intention. This is actually why I am intentional about my own mornings. And if you want to see what a doctor-approved hormone-friendly morning routine looks like in real life, do watch this video here. Small changes in how you start your day can make a significant difference in how your hormones behave over time. And what often goes hand in hand with rushed, stressful mornings is the next habit: undereating and skipping meals. And this is one that I see all the time, especially in these busy, high-functioning and high-achieving women. Whether it's skipping breakfast because you're rushing, forgot to eat during the day, or constantly eating light because you're trying to be disciplined, from a hormonal point of view, constantly underfueling your body signals that resources are scarce. And when your body thinks that it's in survival mode, reproductive functions are not a priority. Clinically, this shows up as missed or irregular periods, worsening PMS, fatigue, hair thinning, and difficulty conceiving. I always say, your body doesn't know that you're busy, aesthetic, or just trying to be healthy. It just knows whether it feels safe or stressed. Hormone balance requires consistency, not extremes. Regular meals, adequate nourishment, stable blood sugar. Your body cannot regulate cycles, support fertility, manage stress, and function optimally while running on empty. And to be perfectly clear, eating anything just to say you ate is not the goal either. Hormones need nourishment, not just calories. Quality matters. Having fast food every day doesn't suddenly become hormone supportive just because it has some protein in it. Nourishment is about balance, not technicalities. Stable hormones need a balance of protein, fiber, and healthy fats. When meals are heavily processed and nutritionally poor, blood sugar still swings and hormones feel it. The fourth habit quietly disrupting hormones is normalizing pain and irregular cycles. A lot of women have been taught that painful periods are just part of growing up and it's part of being a woman, that irregular cycles are normal, and that severe PMS is something that you're just supposed to get used to every month and eventually it will go away. But from a medical perspective, this normalization is one of the biggest reasons hormone and reproductive conditions go undiagnosed for years. Pain is surprisingly common, but not normal. Severe cramps that stop you from functioning, cycles that are consistently irregular, heavy bleeding, pain with sex. These are not things that you just live with. Every day in clinic, I see women who have been experiencing symptoms for years before they ever seek help. And by the time they do, conditions like endometriosis, PCOS, and fibroids, they have already progressed, sometimes to the point where there's not much left that we can do. Ignoring your symptoms doesn't make them disappear. It just delays diagnosis and limits the options that you have later. I like to say that your menstrual cycle is a vital sign, just like your blood pressure, your pulse, your temperature. When it's painful, unpredictable, or changing significantly, that's your body signaling and asking for attention. And this is why hormone health is not about aesthetics or trends. It's about listening early before the consequences become harder to manage. And when pain, fatigue, and irregular cycles are layered on top of constant stress and overwork, we arrive at the final and very common habit: living in constant burnout. Having a busy season once in a while is okay. We all have them. But living in a state where rest is always postponed, stress is normalized, and recovery never fully happens, this is not okay. From a hormonal perspective, chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated for long periods of time. And when cortisol stays high, other hormones, especially the reproductive health hormones, get suppressed. This is why burnout often shows out as irregular or missed periods, worsening PMS, low libido, fatigue that doesn't improve even when you sleep for long hours, and sometimes or eventually fertility challenges. Burnout isn't just mental or emotional, it's actually biological. Your body cannot differentiate between emotional stress, work stress, or physical exhaustion. It just responds by shifting into survival mode. And when survival becomes the default, hormone balance becomes collateral damage. And this is why rest is not optional. Rest should not be a reward that you earn when everything else is done. Rest is actually part of healthcare. There is no amount of supplements, cycle syncing, or hormone balancing trends that you can do to undo the effects of chronic burnout if the underlying lifestyle habit causing the imbalance doesn't change. So when you put all of this together, sleep, stress, how you eat, what you ignore, and how burnt out you are, you start to see why hormones are suddenly such a big conversation. Hormone imbalance doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built quietly, day by day, through the habits that seem normal, productive, and a lot of times even praised. And this is the part that I really want to emphasize as a doctor. You don't wait for infertility, severe PMS, chronic fatigue, or a diagnosis to start caring about your hormones. Hormone health is preventive care. It's how you sleep, how you start your day, how consistently you nourish yourself, whether you move your body, and whether you listen when your body speaks or silence it. And the good news is, because these issues are built daily, they can also be improved daily. Small intentional changes done consistently matter far more than extreme fixes, because your hormones are not broken. They're just responding to how you live. If you want to go deeper into everyday habits that actually support women's health beyond just hormones, I have a video for feminine habits for women's health, where I talk about sexual health, gut health, and hormone balancing all together. Do go and watch that. It's linked at the end of the video and in the description box below. And if pregnancy is something that you're considering in the near future, I also have a video on trying to conceive in 2026, where I talk about what to start doing before you begin trying. That one is especially important. If this video helped shed some light and opened your eyes to the importance of your habits for your hormone health, please like it and share it with 2 friends. And subscribe to my channel for more videos like these on intentional womanhood. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.